called Behind and Beyond, and I am Phillip Alvin Jones. Just like every other episode, we are spotlighting and bringing awareness to topics of discussion that deal with issues related to criminal justice, prison reform, mass incarceration, and how we turn a negative into a positive. Today we have a brother who embodies metamorphosis, or simply put, transformation. After being sentenced to 10 years in the Missouri Department of Correction, I'll let him tell the story. Prosecutor told this brother at his trial that he was a danger to society and had no hope for change. This sticks in my mind because not only was she wrong, but she told a lie. Now she has to eat those words, as we have for you today, Dr. Stanley Andrisse. He is not a criminal, nor was he an incorrigible. He is an endocrinologist, scientist, and assistant professor at Howard University's College of Medicine. Dr. Andrisse service commitments include executive director and founder of From Prison Cells to PhDs, board member of the formerly incarcerated College Graduates Network, past president of Johns Hopkins Postdoctoral Association, founder of the Diversity Postdoctoral Alliance, and he also does community outreach, youth mentor work, motivational speaking, as well as community activism. With that being said, let's welcome Dr. Stanley Andrisse to the show. How are you, my brother?
Oh man, I'm doing well, and thank you for the invitation. It's incredible to be here. You know, I know we'll probably get into some of this, throughout our time together here, but it's just what you're doing is incredible. And as soon as I learned about, what you had going on, I was on board, and I've been on board, as you know, for, several years, and went to testify for you, man. You're doing incredible things. When I got this invitation, I was like, hold up, is he out? And then I just see the work that you're doing. It's just incredible, man, to be doing it from where you're doing it. And I'm 100% on board with anything that you, any way that I could help. So when I got this invitation, I was very excited.
That's what's up. I came in contact with this brother back in 2017 while I was facilitating this class called Release Readiness. And one of our sponsors had met him at a conference they was having in Colorado, I believe it was. And they came back and they told me about it because they knew that I was from Maryland, right? So needless to say, I reached out to him, shared my story. I asked him to testify for me at a court hearing, and he showed up for me. So I want to take a moment before going any further to thank you, brother, because that support you gave me, man, is stuck with me to this day. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Story is the entry on steroids. What I realized after reading your book and felt it made us kindred spirits was that you had a drive, man, that was insatiable. You was all gas and no brakes on both worlds. Let me put it like that. But you had the same muscle and determination in getting your education as you did in the street life. You was trying to get your bag, and you ain't let nothing stand in your way. The same way when you came out and went to get your degrees and became the doctor that you are, you ain't let nothing stand in your way. And that's the same way as me. I don't believe in half-assing nothing. If you're doing it, you got to do it 100. Don't play that because it's not a game. So I got some questions for you, brother. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. The first question I have for you is, what was life like for you growing up in Ferguson area of Missouri?
Yeah, so I touch on that in the book, and I appreciate you mentioning that, and I appreciate you getting the book, reading the book. So Ferguson is a area that is adjacent to North St. Louis. North St. Louis, just like Baltimore, which you're familiar with, is battling for the top spot pretty much every year in violent crimes and murder rate. It's an area of the country that is very well known for violent crime, drug activity, and things of that nature. Ferguson is actually, a little bit outside of, not outside, but it's not North St. Louis City, right? But growing up, everything that, folks know about Ferguson in terms of the excessive policing, the fact that there was no Black leadership, Black teachers. You know, it was a primarily Black area run by all white individuals. And growing up, that never really hit me. But what I do know is that I was just constantly interacting with police. You know, it just seemed like regular life, though. So it really didn't take me as something that was being done abnormally to us in terms of that type of heavy policing and excessive, you know, use of excessive force and things of that nature. So it was just life. And I'm not, you know, I would hate to say that that brought me and made me make the decisions that I made to start selling drugs. But, you know, it's certainly the social, political, societal views held on a young Black man certainly plays a role with, you know, the decisions that a lot of Black folks who end up in prison, you know, that played a part in their role, and it certainly did in mine.
And I definitely concur. You know what I mean? Like you said, the same thing happened in St. Louis, Ferguson. The same thing going on in Baltimore City right now. I first heard about Ferguson when Mike Brown, you know, was murdered by that police officer, and the whole world went crazy. And so for me, I was like, that reminded me of what happened with Freddie Gray and how it exploded in Baltimore. And so, you know, I felt you came from like the same type of background and circumstances that I did. And so you understand what we're up against in the things that we have to face in the inner city. And so I wanted to ask you something about how it was growing up over there. And you explained that very well. My next question for you is, from what I read in your book, From Prison Cells to PhD, I see that you are Haitian American and came from a two-parent family home. Can you tell us how you found your way into the hustler lifestyle? Yeah,
I mean, so again, there was a lot of societal, cultural things playing into me moving into this, you know, lifestyle of hustling, selling drugs, and getting involved with the criminal legal system. And I could say that, you know, the two there's some ties to it. So being an immigrant family, and just, you know, I would say any immigrant family, but particularly being a Haitian immigrant family in this particular time in the country, in the 80s, going into the 90s, this was a time when Haitian refugees were flooding to the States. And, you know, still in rap culture today, you know, you got folks like, you know, Lil Wayne and different people. There's a perception of what Haitians are, particularly Haitians in Miami, for instance. So there was this view on Haitians that really wasn't a good view. It was already thought of as like people that are second class. It's the poorest country in the entire world. And, you know, people held certain views on them. So those views, as a little kid, you know, you're telling folks that you're Haitian, and even the Black kids are looking kind of sideways at you. So, you know, I had to, you know, you had to kind of find a place of being accepted. And, you know, maybe that I think that being different certainly played a little bit into me being a little more susceptible to wanting to find acceptance. And I found that in the streets. So, you know, that certainly played a little bit of a role. But, you know, to the same side of how my Haitian upbringings kind of maybe played a role in me getting into the hustling life, you know, Haitians come from, I mean, really a lot of immigrant families come to the country with hopes of coming and finding something better. So, you know, my parents kind of pushed education. And as you mentioned, you know, I had both my parents, and you know, they did push education. I mean, my father particularly, you know, I got into the streets and started making decisions. As with many teenagers, you know, that's the thing, that for some reason, the human experience is this is the same shit that's been going on since the beginning of time. For some reason, our creator created us in a way that when we're teenagers, we don't have the ability to think like adults. We're not adults yet. Our brain's not fully developed. So, you know, I was thinking like a teenager because I was a teenager. And, I was, pushing away from things that my father was trying to instill in me. And instead I found more acceptance and this place of it was more achievable to be in the streets. Like school didn't seem that shit. It just didn't seem like something for people that looked like me. But the streets was very accepting and seemed very achievable and seemed very approachable and doable. And, again, being a teenager, that's what I was drawn to it. And then on top of all that, I became very good at it. So, I just found myself getting deeper and deeper and deeper into, more dangerous and violent situations.
For sure. I read all that in the book too, man, and I can identify. But, even thinking about having a two-parent home or having parents trying to instill good things in you, like you say, there's always the lure of your peers in the streets because, of course, what they're telling you is right. You know what I mean? And you hear what they're saying. But when you go out there, if you come from a low-income part of your community where, you don't have much, even if your parents have jobs, and everybody's got on these brand new shoes, and everybody's coming to school fresh and fly, and they got jewelry on, and everybody's looking at them, and they the man. It's very easy for even a kid with instilled principles such as education pursuits to find his way into that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Easy around you, and I'm trying to explain that to a lot of people too.
And the other thing is, and I touch on this in the book, is that for some reason, people with our skin tone get different outcomes. So as teenagers, it is just a regular human experience for teenagers to make poor decisions. But for some reason, when Black kids make poor decisions, they get much harsher punishments than, when white kids make poor decisions. It's almost as if, it was in my situation, it was literally as if same types of crimes. And they're like, this Black kid is hopeless. This Black kid is going to be stuck in the criminal legal system. But, the white kids, they probably have a chance to get out. I have some hope in them. Like, I think they will be okay when they become adults. That was literally the way it was viewed. For me, it was like, no, we need to lock them up, throw away the key. But for them, it was like, just let's give them another chance. They're just young and they're just young boys doing what boys do. But we don't get looked at in that way,
Sure, it's two systems of justice. So when I get locked up for, having drugs in my possession and they give me a drug case, they say he's a menace. They say he needs to be locked up because he's poisoning his community. But if a white kid get locked up with the same drugs, they say, oh, he just made a bad choice, and we're going to put him in some type of program to help mentor and reinforce him and get him
right. It's just a phase that he's going through,
You basically already touched on it. I was going to ask you about developmental problems, but we basically answered that in your other question. If you want to touch on that some more, we can, or we can go to the next one.
The only thing I can say about that is like school was, I had some reading issues and school just was not pressed upon me in the way that it was pressed upon other folks. So, that's about it. I think really if you just have people that could believe in your potential, you suddenly all of a sudden are able to achieve things that you may have not thought that you were achievable before.
Right. Okay. All right, that's a good answer. I like that. So what was your first contact with the criminal justice system? Was it that time when you went for the 10 years, or did you have prior?
No, I had a number of run-ins with the law and getting arrested and getting locked up. And my first time getting a criminal conviction and getting locked up was at 14 on just some childish teenager, activities with a friend and drinking, smoking, and just coming up with teenage ideas, and ended up doing some criminal activities, and ended up getting hemmed up, and it was a similar situation to my later, deeper involvement in the charges that, the drug trafficking charges, which were Class A. This was that first charge was I believe a Class D felony or something like that, Class C or D felony, but it was the same thing. Like I got hit up with a guy that was white, and he didn't even get a slap on the wrist. He got actually just nothing. And I ended up getting slapped with a criminal charge, getting locked up, put in juvie for some time, and getting a criminal record that stayed on, a criminal conviction that stayed on my record.
Man, that's crazy, because that brings something to mind that I talked about in one of my first episodes about when I threw a rock in the air at this female, basically not trying to hit her, but just trying to get her attention. And the rock hit her mother's car window and busted it. So me being who I am, I didn't run off. They don't know where I live. I could have just ran off. I went and told her, I said, I did that. That was my fault. I'm up here playing with rocks on the neighborhood street. But I'm going to call my father, and I'm going to tell him what I did, and he's going to pay for it. So I called him, and he said, okay. He came, they still called the police. So police took me to the station. And my father, he actually paid for the window, but they had already wrote me a citation, and I went to juvenile court and ended up going there for 30 days in juvenile. So that was
some crazy.
I paid for the malicious destruction, and that's crazy to me, because
it
puts me into the system.
Yeah, that was a similar situation. Eventually, with we ended up breaking into some cars and whatnot, and the folks didn't even want to press charges on us. But the police was like, nah, we gotta give this nigga something, right? And essentially, even though the people didn't want to press charges on me, the police, still found some charges to charge and convict me. So yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that, like, you tell people this stuff, like I tell like my family this stuff, even, that like. My family is sometimes surprised to hear some of the things, and they're like, that couldn't be true. Like, there has to be some other circumstances to that. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, that's the whole point. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if it don't make sense, then it couldn't be possible. You know what I mean? But that's what we're trying to dispel, because we know the truth. We live it. I got another good question for you. What does the term second chance mean to you?
I mean, second chance, the thing is, a lot of the folks in the criminal legal system, especially, Black individuals in the criminal legal system, weren't even really given a first chance. So second chance is just believing in humanity, believing in the power of change. My book is titled From Prison Cells to PhD, It's Never Too Late to Do Good. And it's never too late to do good is a phrase that my father used to tell me. Of course, we really didn't speak much English in the household. We spoke Haitian Creole. And so the phrase that he would tell me is "On ne jamais trop tard pour faire bien," which doesn't have an exact English translation. It kind of means it's never too late to reach your full potential. And it kind of means it's never too late to do the right thing. My dad kind of meant a little bit of all of that. But what he was actually telling me, and it didn't really hit me until sitting in prison and, eventually losing him as he was fighting against type 2 diabetes. But what he was essentially saying is, I'm not going to throw you away. A lot of folks, their family, once they go through the legal system, their significant others, people around them kind of say, this is it for you. It's over. Like, you can't get over this type of hurdle. But what he was telling me is that I'm not going to, when you are ready, I will be here waiting for you. And I believe in you, because I believe that it's never too late to do the right thing. I believe that it's never too late for you to reach your potential. I believe it's never too late for you to do good. So, I mean, that is kind of this incredible message that it took me a long time to get. And what a lot of people ask me, like, what would you tell the younger you? And really, it's not about what I would tell the younger me. It's what I would tell the adults and school administrators and people around me. And that would be to be patient. This is a teenager doing teenage things. Be patient with that person and be ready to love and support them when, they're able to make more adult decisions. And I think that's what, that's kind of what this idea of second chances is let's be patient. Let's believe in human potential. Let's believe in the fact that humans are not static creatures. We don't stay the same for decades. It's ridiculous to incarcerate people for decades because, there's no single person in the world that is the same person they were 10 years ago, right? So people just naturally change. And if we believe in the power of true transformational change, which is just human nature, we are humans that change, then we would believe in second chances, But I don't think that we're really there yet, unfortunately, like for the most part, particularly when you're looking, what people look about Black individuals and Black people who've been through the system and what society, both, not just white society, but just society in general, views of what a person who's been through the system can do. And that's part of the reason that there's second chances for people with low level drug crimes. There's second chances for people who, the society believes in second chances and believes in helping people with low level drug crimes, people with drug addiction crimes, because those really shouldn't even be criminalized in the first place, and, people wrongfully convicted. But society hasn't gotten to this point where they truly believe that a person who committed a violent crime is capable of changing. We haven't gotten there yet. And that says that we don't truly believe in second chances. We don't truly believe in humans, is what it means to me.
Chance if you don't see the person standing before you as a human being. And I'm a prime example because I'm on my 31st year and I've been locked up since I was 19 years old. And I have a non-homicide offense. So whether you feel I'm innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter because I've shown over the years that I am a changed individual, that I have accomplished things, and that I've stayed and maintained a good record while being here. So I wanted to say this because you did a good job for me when you told about your story, when you testified in court for me. And when I was leaving the courthouse, I actually saw you talking to Judge Jones, the judge who presided over my case. And I didn't get to talk to you after that, but I was like, he's actually talking to her as a human being outside the courtroom. And I was always curious as to what it was that you guys were discussing. If it was personal, it ain't none of my business, but, that was impressive to me. So that came to my mind when you was just talking about second chances and how they see us,
Yeah, I remember that day pretty vividly because it's always kind of an out of body experience for me to step back into a courtroom. I don't really like it. It just brings me back to that day. So I remember it for that reason. And, what I was telling her is I too was thought to be irreparable. Like we have to stop thinking about people as being irreparable. We have to really believe in the ability of change, and just offering my story as that proof of it being possible. And it is surreal. I now I go back and I talk in prisons and I meet wardens. I used to think that wardens were people with devil horns sticking out of their ear, because I wrote so many letters to the warden at the prisons that I was at and never really got any true response and never met any of them. So like when I first met one and there was a regular human being, it was actually an experience for me too, because I thought they were the devil, literally, you know what I mean? So like to see them as a real person, it was actually a humanizing experience for me. Like, just as I want them to see me as a human, I need to see the human in them too. And it was kind of humanizing experience. Not to say as humans, they're making the wrong decisions to incarcerate people as long as they do, and to, put people through the situations that they do in, that we face while incarcerated. But it's a real thin line to walk. And I walk this thin line as I now work with a lot of wardens. I now work with different judges, and, I have to walk this thin line of kind of an abolitionist that wants to burn this shit completely down, right? But also Harriet Tubman, because I know that I need to walk into these spaces and have these conversations so I can help pull brothers like you out and put you onto the Underground Railroad and get you out. You know what I mean? So it's a weird and difficult space to be in. Yeah.
Well, you've been balancing it pretty well, man, from what I'm seeing in the book. And, that brings me to the other question. I want you to tell us more about your organization, from prison cells to PhD. What made you start it, and what is its mission?
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, me being a formerly incarcerated person with multiple felony convictions, since 10 years in prison, who was told he had no hope for changing, and is now, Dr. Andrisse, endocrinologist, scientist, professor, Howard University, Johns Hopkins, Georgetown. Recently, I just got back. I don't know if you were informed, but I was in London for the past summer as I was doing a visiting professorship at Imperial College of London, which is like an Ivy League school over in UK. So, I've clearly made these changes from what this prosecutor was prophesizing those many years ago. And for me, going through the actual steps and hurdles and obstacles and seeing how I got through those, it wouldn't seem, there's no way I could sleep at night if I weren't helping other people get through those hurdles and obstacles. If I wasn't shedding light as to how I did it, there would be no way for me to sleep at night. So I have to do this work. And really the organization, From Prison Cells to PhD, which is also the title of the book. And, that tied in with the words that my father told me. It's this idea that, you put support and a network around people and they will succeed. The same, you mentioned it when we first got on, I'm using the same skills that I used when I was hustling in the streets that makes me have had 5 scientific publications this year, which is more than any of my colleagues in my department, right? When I finished my PhD in 4 years, whereas a lot of my peers finished in 6 years plus, I was literally lapping folks. And it wasn't because I was more intelligent. I just had more hustle and more grind. And I had that ever since I was in the streets hustling. So the program really tells people that you have everything that you need to succeed already inside you. We just want to harness that and bring it out and put this support system around you. One of the biggest things that really holds us back is the fact that, in my case, I had this prosecutor tell me that I wasn't going to be shit. But that was only the start of it. I always mention that because that was just the start of it. There was just repetitive things throughout my time in the system that kept telling me that I wasn't shit. So people, it's easy for you to embody that and believe it. So we are really working to help build people's self-value and self-worth and tell them that they have purpose in life. And we want to help you find that purpose. And you already have all the skills. And now what we're going to do is help you bring those skills back out and connect you to the job that truly embodies your true human potential. And in a nutshell, that's we do it. I mean, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of all the things that we do, but that's conceptually what we do.
Man, and that brings me to this, man. If an individual wants to become involved in the mentee of your program, how would they go about that, and how do they get a hold of you, and what is the process like for individuals still in my situation?
Yeah, so actually, I mean, I'm not even, and I don't ask questions. Like if you if you read my book, you see that like I intentionally, there's just some stuff that's I don't care to get that deeply an understanding of, and like so I say that to say like I'm not even like all that concerned how you're connecting with me now, right? Because I say, we have some folks, we have our first incarcerated people that are part of one of our outside cohorts. So I say that to say that you could actually, I don't know how you're joining on this call, but we've worked out some situations where we have incarcerated people calling in via Zoom and connecting with us and engaging in our program on the outside. We've also had some folks, incarcerated folks, connect with us in other ways that's not through the institution. And we've done both, you know what I mean? So in terms of a person like you, there's extreme value. We want people, we really want to be inclusive. We believe one of the true things that is central to the way that we operate is that currently and formerly incarcerated people need to be the leaders pushing forward in the movement. So, we want people like myself, but we want people like you helping us push forward in the movement. So you can get involved if you have access. You can get involved. We have a pen pal program. So, an incarcerated person can be involved in our program through a pen pal program where they would write one of our volunteers on the outside. If you can work something out to where you can connect with us via Zoom, you could actually participate in our cohorts, which take place, every Saturday. There's an application process and things of that nature. But if you have that ability, you can do that. And you could also serve as a mentor in that capacity. So you could be a mentor and participants. Our mentors actually go through the program. So we really like build our mentors. We want our mentors to have gone through and participated in the program, so they can really help the new participants understand what they're about to get into.
Right, because they've been there and they've done that. Well, for sure, man, I'm definitely going to, we already connected. I'm definitely going to reach out and see what I can do to go through the program and also be a part of staying with the program for others that come behind me, because I want to use that model that you use, man. When I say
and in fact, you know what?
Out there did it. You exceeded the expectations. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of you, man. And I want you to keep on doing what you're doing. And I appreciate you spending this time with us. Yeah,
most definitely. Thank you. We have a graduation coming up. I might try to arrange for you to come, if you would be willing to come speak to some of our folks at the graduation and be one of the speakers at the graduation. If you're interested, we can connect offline about that.
Man, when you need me, I'm there, man. Get a hold of me when you need me. Give me the time, the days, I'm there.
It's coming up, so I'm gonna connect with you. It's in just 2 weeks on Saturday, and so we'll connect. And we would love to have you. It would be our graduates would be just it would be an incredible experience. We would love that.
My honor, man. Get at me, man, and you showed up for me, man. I'm gonna show up for you.
That's what's up, man. It's much love to what you're doing. It's just incredible. I'm following you on all your social platforms. I love the work you do. I love how you push up the work that I do. So much appreciation to that, and thank you for grabbing a copy of the book. And please share with other folks on the inside. We're actually trying to work out deals where we're trying to get it inside a number of different correctional facilities. So aside from just spreading the word to the brothers inside, if you could, if you had connections with the actual correctional officials, we would love to try to work out something where, we're donating books to prison libraries. So if there's any way that we can make that happen, I would love that.
Most definitely. I got 2 copies, man. I gave my neighbor one to look at, man. I told him, when he get done, to give it back so I can give it to somebody else. Before you go, man, I wanted to say, if you haven't, I need you to subscribe to my YouTube page, The Wall Behind and Beyond, because we're trying to get our numbers up so we can put the URL together. But yeah, man, for sure, man. Every time you this is in the spirit of brotherhood, man, and I try to build that also. So every time you do something, I'm gonna reflect that. I'm gonna put that out there on my platform. So I appreciate you, man, all the way around. Most
definitely, man. Thank you, and I appreciate the invitation. And this was dope, man. I'm looking forward to getting the final recording.
All right, absolutely. That should be done, man. We're gonna get my guy Chris, man.
All right.
Like he do, man, and it's gonna come
it's
out
a wrap.
And we're gonna put some heat on that.
yeah. No, it's dope, man. I checked out a couple of the other ones, man, and I'm looking forward to hearing it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Take care, man.
All right, take care.